Welcome to a brand new video here on my YouTube channel. In this lesson, we are gonna talk about visualization. So, if you're playing pool, the most important thing is visualize everything that you're doing. If you visualize, you're more likely to have the right outcome as if you don't visualize. So remember, visualize everything you're doing. Now we have the following situation. We are playing 9 ball. 1 ball is here, cue ball is here, and here's the 2 ball. So the first thing we have to think about to visualize is where do we want our cue ball to have. Some of you would say now, yeah, this area would be okay because we have to get to the 3 ball. Yeah, that's right, this area would be okay, but what we visualize is not an area. Here, imagine, in this example we're gonna go this path. Imagine the cue ball travels towards this area and comes a little too short. Yeah, just a few inches from the area you visualized. You have a tough shot on the 2 ball. Imagine the cue ball comes just a few inches too far. You have a straight shot and a really tough shot to get on the 3. It's possible. I give you the link to this special shot at the end of the video. But what we want to do is, no, we don't want to visualize an area, even if the area is okay. Because if you come too short, yeah, you don't have a shot. So what we gotta do is, we visualize a point where we want to be. And what happens now is, we're going to the point, and if we don't are exactly on the point, if you're a few inches too short, few inches too far, we still have a good shot because we are still in the area we want to be. Yeah, so this is the area, and if we're a little too short from our visualized point, it's still okay. But if we're a little too far from our visualized area, yeah, we're not okay. And that's why you visualize a point, because the margin for error is just not that big if you visualize a point. So that's the first thing. The second thing in how to visualize. Now we think we want to get here. Yeah, with left spin it's pretty tough in this case to get here. So we think, what options do we have? And we see the natural path here is open to get to the 2 ball. So the first thing we visualize, where do we want to hit on this rail? And how can we change where we hit this rail? Yeah, if we play low, high or low. Yeah, if we're playing higher, let's mark this. This ball goes into here. Yeah, if we're playing high, cue ball will go more to this part of the rail, and if we're low, the cue ball goes to this side. So where do we want to hit this rail? Yeah, let's say we play a little low, hit this rail here, and now we have to visualize what will happen now if we hit like that. Yeah, the cue ball will go, I guess, in this direction, and as you see, it will hit the 9, so we don't get to the 2 ball. So the next thing is, we want to know where do we hit the rail and how do we get out of the rail. Yeah, and how can we manage to do that? With spin. Yeah, with right or left spin. In this case, I want to add right spin, so that I don't get out like this, so that the cue ball comes out like this. Yeah, because you see the 9 ball is in the way. So with low and right, I guess get something here, right about here. After this rail, I can't control it anymore because I only can control the first and the second rail where to hit, and then it's just speed, and you have to have the right speed, and hopefully you see it's getting close with the 5 ball maybe, so you may have to go this path. Yeah, let's change our plan a little bit in this case. So I guess we're gonna hit it like that, then go here a little more to this side, so we have to add a little more of right spin, then go there, and then we should probably miss it. Yeah, we will see. I will play the shot in real life, and then we will see what happens exactly. But this is how you visualize. Yeah, imagine where do you hit the first rail and how do you want to get out of the first rail to the second rail. Then it's a matter of speed to get to the right position. The next thing I'm gonna teach you is a problem that a lot of pool players have if they're visualizing, and in this case we are visualizing, okay, I'm playing low with a little bit of left, right, and I don't want to fall into the side pocket. And the problem is your brain hears fall into side pocket. Your brain doesn't understand the knot. So you always have to visualize in a positive way, not in a negative way. Because your brain just sees the picture how the cue ball falls into the side pocket, and it doesn't understand that you're saying don't do it, not into the side pocket. Your brain doesn't hear it. It just sees the pictures. So always visualize in a positive way. Visualize I will hit here, and don't I will not hit here. Just visualize I will hit here, and then the outcome won't be so that you fall into the side pocket in this case. So the last thing I will give you on the way is why it is important to visualize. If you have a shot like this and you don't visualize and you're just thinking, okay, I will somewhere get here, here, and then we will see what happens. No, visualize everything, because then you can compare, okay, what was I thinking and what did actually happen? And so you can improve yourself. You can learn about the cue ball, how the cue ball reacts. What happens if you give right spin? What happens if you don't give right spin? Yeah, you will learn from this visualization, and that's why it's so important to visualize. So after we made our plan, we're still standing, we're not down at the shot yet. The first thing we visualize is, okay, the cue ball hits here, we're gonna play it with that, and then the object ball drops, and that's the most important part. You should forget to visualize how the object ball drops. And then you just execute the shot like you visualized, and then hopefully something like this should happen. Yeah, and you should go right about here where our point was. So I would say let's try it in real life. So first step, where is the point that I want my cue ball to end? Then the second step, I'm looking at the potting line for the one ball into the corner pocket. Then I'm planning where do I want to hit the first rail. Then where do I want to hit the second rail. Yeah, that's the two rails I can control with low or high and spin. And then how does the cue ball bounce out of the second rail, and which path does the cue ball now take? Well, I'm seeing now, okay, I can't get to the point. So I change my point. I'm looking, okay, if the cue ball stops here, yeah, I'm also totally fine, and I can play the 2 and get position for the 3 ball. So now I planned the whole thing, going behind the 1 ball, visualizing the potting line. This is now my pre-shot routine. I'm looking at the ball, I'm looking around the table, visualizing last time, then go down on the shot and just execute the shot with the right spin and the right speed, of course. Yeah, the cue ball now goes this path. It doesn't go exactly like I imagined, but almost identical. And the cue ball comes almost perfectly to rest, and I have a good shot at the 2 ball. You now see how important visualizing is. The first step, the results where the cue ball is gonna go in the end will be much better. The second thing is, it's just a good way to control how well you know how the cue ball is gonna react and how you can control the cue ball. So let's summarize it. First, always visualize a point where you want the cue ball at. Second thing, plan where do you want to hit the first rail and how should the cue ball come out to the first rail to hit the second rail at a certain point. The last thing is, don't visualize in a negative way, so always positive thinking. Nothing like I don't want to get here or I don't want to do this. No, just visualize in a positive way. If you do all these steps, it will improve your game. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and we will see us at the next video.